Hi everyone, this is Adam here from Inflectra. I want to share with you today a groundbreaking new piece of functionality in Rapise, our test automation tool. Using the power of generative AI, this breakthrough really avoids a lot of the limitations and problems with test automation. So for those who are not familiar with test automation, when you're automating software testing, the biggest problem is that the applications we're testing are obviously changing. People are adding functionality, changing them, they're being reconfigured, and the danger therefore is the test that you wrote, when it starts to play, will no longer work correctly because the application has changed, and the test needs updating to make that work correctly. And therefore, instead of saving time, test automation can actually often take longer than it should do. And as a result, you spend a week automating a test to save hours, and then you have to rewrite it a week later. So instead of getting a return on investment, you end up getting a negative return on investment. And that's the big Achilles heel of test automation, the maintenance. Now, with the power of generative AI, taking the latest large action models, this new breakthrough we have in our Rapise product finally deals with that issue, sorts it out once and for all. So I'm going to show you live how you can have test automation without the maintenance hassles using the power of AI. Let's go see. So what we're going to do first of all is run this application and show you this amazing breakthrough in action, and then I'll walk you through what's going on. So first of all, let's play the test. So I just go to my test and I hit the play button. And it's going to launch the application, which is over here running in Chrome. And this is a simple web application. It's our online library, and the test is going to log in with a username and password. The username is librarian, password is librarian. Not super secure, but it's okay for a test app. It then logs in, and once it's logged in, it's going to hopefully navigate to the right part of the system, which is the books section, as we're going to be editing a book. Once we get to the list, it's then going to want to edit the fourth book, Jane Eyre, which we see in the list. Clicks on the link. It's then going to make a change. So we've asked it to change the book to detective fiction, not classic fiction. So it's going to use the drop-down menu. It's going to change it to detective fiction, which you can see right there in the list. And then it's going to hit the save button. Now it's saved. Fantastic. And it logs out. Test is passed. Looking good. Now you might be thinking, what's so special about that? That's automated testing. We do this all the time, right? But there's something slightly different about this. If you go into the test, which is right here, you'll notice there's no test script. I just tell it, log in as librarian, and change the genre of the book Jane Eyre to detective fiction. This is what I would tell a human being, an exploratory tester, maybe a manual tester. I would say, do these things. Now, I don't say, click on the login button. I don't say, click on the books menu item. That's not here. And you're thinking, well, so how is this doing it? Is it turning this into script behind the scenes? Have I learned these objects ahead of time? So we had some AI functionality in our current version of the product where it effectively does that. You can write natural language and it turns this behind the scenes into effectively Selenium script implicitly. But this is not doing that. This is actually using a robot feature, and it's actually looking at the page graphically, and it's moving the mouse to specific coordinates and acting on it. But it's also doing more than that. It's actually interpreting what's on the page. It's actually looking at that page. If I go back to the thing for a second, I didn't say click on books or authors. It interpreted the books was the right place to go to edit a book. I actually ran this in an earlier recording of this, and I had forgotten to change the Jane Eyre book back from detective fiction to something else. And when it ran through the test, it actually didn't even click on the edit button. It just reported back and said, it's already directed for detective fiction. I don't need to do anything. So it actually was intelligent enough to even interpret the results on the page before doing an action, saying, well, that doesn't make any sense. The test actually doesn't make sense because it already is in that genre. So if this is actually the system interpreting the instructions and then performing a test dynamically on the application. So if I change my navigation completely, so instead of being a navigation bar with books and authors, maybe it's a hamburger menu where it's dropping it down, maybe it's buttons, whatever it is, it's still going to do that. I didn't say click on the edit button. I just said edit the book. If that edit button becomes change or something else, it's going to be able to adjust dynamically. So what we have right now is an AI-powered testing tool that is actually able to autonomously test this page. And just to prove, if I go here, there's no objects. They go under the RVL. If you use our old version of Rapise or traditional version, you see a bunch of page objects here. If you go into modules pages, there's nothing there either. So we don't need to have all the page objects, all the XPath, all the CSF, all the traditional ways of doing test automation is now being replaced by something that can actually interpret and see on the fly the application. So one thing you may have noticed though is that the playback was slower than traditional test automation, and that's true because the AI is interpreting in real time. So with the current, AI generations that are out there, you could use this to basically record the test, and then if you're going to do lots and lots of playbacks, you could have the system generate traditional script recording, traditional, XPath locators as it's playing it the first time. So effectively, you play back the first time using AI, and then all subsequent regression tests could be done using more traditional automation, which is faster and cheaper. But as the cost of AI goes down, we won't need to do that either. Just giving you a preview of what the future is going to look like. We're super excited to be doing this, and we're using some of the AWS Bedrock models, and it's the AWS Claude 3.5 Sonnet version 2 that has this action capability, which is basically a large action model. It can understand applications and launch them. So we're super excited about this, and you can see this functionality coming in a new version of Rapise very soon. Thanks so much.